Bam. That was a great introduction.
Thank you.
Intro deduction.
Eventually, we're going to get to a point where we can actually hear the theme song
While
we're starting to record or whatever.
How does that work? Oh, I guess you could listen to it.
We could just have it in there and be monitoring that channel.
Yes,
or whatever.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yep. If you haven't realized already, we don't know what we're doing.
This is week 2 of the podcast without a name at this point.
Yep.
Because we found
Joey
out
Fontano or whatever
his
stole
name
it.
is. Yeah. Very uncool.
Not really, but we stole it apparently unbeknownst to him. I mean, if he hasn't done it in a year, should be good to go.
I don't know if that's how that works. Because they had like famous people on their podcast and stuff.
Doesn't matter. We could have famous people.
We won't for a while.
Why not?
Sean Bowles, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on our podcast.
Oh, God. That would be interesting.
We'd get a lot of subscribers.
Yeah, they would. Then they realize we're hacks. Pretty quickly. Yep.
This is gonna sell like hotcakes.
Oh, okay.
I bet Blue Apron and Squarespace are listening to this right now, and they're like, "We gotta support these guys. Give them some ad money."
What is Blue Apron?
They like
the kitchen.
This is not sponsored by Blue Apron yet, but you can like subscribe to them, and they'll send you meals that are just like ready to cook, basically.
Sweet.
And you won't get fat, but it's gonna
Isn't
cost
that just
you
like
a lot of money.
Jimmy John's?
No, it's not the same.
Because we could just call them and
They
they'd
send
have
you,
it delivered,
like,
ready to eat.
Prepped and portioned food that's ready to go.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll have to try that.
Please don't.
Why not?
It's like really expensive.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
We thought about
they're like,
it at one time.
They're replacing your groceries to an extent, but it's like way more than you would spend.
But then you don't have, like when
month.
we were really busy with work and her in school, we thought about it, but it is expensive. But
it is, yeah.
Not Blue Apron in particular, but Hello Fresh was another one.
Oh, yeah.
Not a sponsor.
Weird vegan grocery delivery.
I don't think so.
No?
I watched a video yesterday about that Mark Rober guy.
Who's that?
That's the guy with the toothpaste, devil's toothpaste.
The devil's
elephant toothpaste.
What?
That Joe from the rock climbing Joe.
Oh, yes. Joe the rock climbs.
He was talking about where they shot it up really high. Last night at the restaurant.
I mean, I heard you guys talking about that, but I did not know what was going on.
Well, anyway, I started watching another video from him because I missed a bunch of his videos, and he was talking about meatless meat.
Oh, like the Impossible Whopper?
Yes, Impossible, which I watched. He went to where they made that, and I didn't like that. It seemed stupid. But there was another company called, something beef, something. And all the stuff they put in it seemed a lot better than the other one. The other one was just a soy burger. This other one was not.
Yeah.
And it seemed like if I wanted to eat something that was not, if I wanted to have a veggie burger, I'd probably use them.
Yeah. I guess I wouldn't mind if all like Burger King and all the big restaurants switched over to meatless patties just for like sustainability purposes and like green food and whatnot. But I'd probably be upset at first. But like once you eat it and it tastes the same, it's like, what does it matter?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the pink slime at McDonald's. Like, yeah, they use pink slime, but like you ate it and it was good.
I just thought it was interesting that Mark Rober referred to it. He's like, yeah, the prices have gone down. It's getting pretty close to regular beef. And I was like, oh, interesting. I'm going to look. No, it was like twice the price a pound.
Well, what the heck?
And I was like, maybe he uses like premium meat.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm using Walmart meat.
Walmart meat.
Yeah. Joe Mart.
I use meat from the forest usually. It's just ground up venison.
That's true. I can't eat venison. I tried it.
What the heck?
It doesn't work with me.
You've had a burger though. Didn't it make you a venison burger?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have venison. So.
Yeah.
I'm not going to probably go hunting ever again. So.
Wow.
Unless I have to. So.
I saw a picture on my phone the other day that I took when I was hunting, and there was like a nice frost on the ground, and the sun was coming up over the trees. I'm like, oh, I would love to be freezing my butt off in a tree right now.
Yeah. Especially socially distanced.
Yes. like 600 feet apart.
Yes. Yep. Carrying a gun. Yep. Yep. Yep.
That'd be great.
So yeah. We just are full of life today, aren't we?
We are.
Doesn't feel like it.
It's been a rough week, honestly.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it was going to be that rough. When we left the podcast, I was on like a podcast high. Like, wow, This is awesome. We're so cool. And this is great.
That was the catnip I had spread around in the room.
It might have been.
Yep. Keep our
disgusting.
It is. Smells like weed, but
yeah,
for cats it is apparently.
But then the weekend happened. What did we see each other on the weekend? No, you were doing stuff.
I don't remember, man. I'm in a fuzz.
Well, Friday is like your day with Jolene.
Yep.
Jolene.
Mm-hmm.
And then Saturday was oh yeah, we were gone. We were at a wedding.
That's right.
We had a wedding. You were moving your parents' crap out of.
We did hang out at the Justers.
The Justers?
The Josters.
Oh.
On Sunday afternoon.
Yes, we did do that. That was a good experience.
That was fun.
If you ever get a chance
Worked
to
on
meet
the treehouse.
The Juster cluster, go and do that.
Cooked jerts.
Brats?
Yeah, but with a Joe.
Oh, right.
The Joerts.
Yep. Shorts. Those are jean shorts.
Oh yeah.
Can't do that.
Jorts. That's true.
I keep feeling like I have to look at the computer, but I totally don't. This is such a better setup than the last podcast.
Why not? Why?
Because I felt like, I was holding the microphone for one, which is awkward for an hour long.
Why is that awkward? People do it all the time.
Yeah, but I couldn't move it. Like I couldn't really touch it because it'd be like you'd hear that all the time. Let's not go. Ooh, don't do that. We can record that to get like a bass track.
Oh, that's true.
It's so sensitive.
Yep.
I need a condenser mic. This is okay, but
yeah,
there's definitely a level of quality you get with an actual microphone.
Actual mic. Apparently, I touched this with something that's greasy right here.
Well, yeah, you put peanut butter on it last week.
Right.
You could lick it through.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, life is crazy. The Rona.
It hasn't gotten us yet.
No.
We had one case confirmed at our church.
That's right.
That is the first and only case so far, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yep.
I guess we didn't have church when everything was shut down.
We didn't.
But since we've been able to have church, one case so far.
Yeah, right.
Which is what I theorized long ago, that we all got it in like December and January.
Yeah, so it feels that way.
Yeah. I mean,
we were all pretty sick.
Everybody was super sick. I'm still like having weird sinus stuff. Like my ear just like randomly crackles.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Well, I don't know if it was a sinus infection or a Rona infection in my sinuses. But it was so
you think
bad.
It's the Rona?
Like the pressure was just building, and it never released. It was just like a bomb trying to go off. So I like forcefully blew it out.
Sweet.
While I was deer hunting.
Did you neti pot
actually,
it?
I did not.
Why not?
I don't have one, and I don't have access to distilled water. So I probably would have got a million parasites.
We could have gotten you distilled water.
Yeah, well, that's just weird. I feel like I could also just drown myself by doing that.
I've never done it.
Me neither.
I don't want to do it.
I'm scared of drowning. Especially drowning in my house with a neti pot. They find me.
Does it go in one nostril, come out the other?
I think so. It's supposed to, right?
I don't know. For some reason, I feel like it's going to come out your mouth. And that's really gross.
And it would come out of like the top of your sinus cavity and like the back of your mouth, like the roof of your mouth. That's weird.
And it come around your soft palate and shoot out your mouth.
I don't like that. That's disgusting. Mm-hmm. Yep. We do not endorse neti pots.
They are not a sponsor.
They are definitely not a sponsor. If they came to us and they're like, we want you to advertise for us, we'd say no, because that's disgusting.
Yeah. Just show yourself doing it on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea. If you have a video of yourself using a neti pot and something stupid happening, you should send that to our email address. It's
to COPS.
No, CUPS.
Joe at Gmail. Bam.
TWOCUPS JOE at gmail.com.
Yep.
We can't call the podcast that anymore.
But we're still going to use the email.
So if you
no,
have
you can't do that.
name suggestion, please email that to us as well, and we'll disregard it.
Two
most
guys in a
likely.
bedroom.
2 guys in a bedroom. 2 guys and a gun case or a gun cabinet.
2
Literally
guys, 4
surrounded by my
guns,
hunting stuff right now.
and a cabinet. Yep.
We call it Curio Cabinet. I bet there's no podcast called that.
No.
And our podcast is just full of like things you would find in a curio.
Like gather around the curio.
That would be something.
That's interesting.
The gathering.
I like how that rolls off the tongue.
It doesn't.
Gather around the curio.
I can barely even say it correctly. Like karaoke.
Grab your bowl of Cheerios.
Cabinet.
Yeah. Curio. I'm curious about what's in the curio today. So, anything else you want to talk about? Should we just end this?
Randomly, just end the podcast here at 12 minutes.
I'm pretty zapped.
This is like a bonus episode. No, you had stuff you wanted to talk about, like real talk.
I did. I will show you.
Let's talk about it.
Let's go to my notes.
These notes. Got them.
That's the notes.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that is.
No, what?
That's it.
What is
Despair versus delight. That's my notes.
That's all you wrote down.
Yeah, I told you I didn't have any notes.
Well, that's great.
Life has been just crazy.
Life has been stupid. I'm not a fan of the past, 6 months.
I've been a bit of a well, yeah, it has been tough, hasn't it?
It's been awful. It started off, and I had so much hope. I was going to get a different job. It was going to be whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had so many issues that weren't even real, but they kind of were with the church and mindsets that we thought were in place, but that actually weren't. It was just weird. And then we got that resolved, and I was like, sweet, we can move mountains. We're all on the same team. We're playing the same game now.
Yep.
Not that church is a game, but... And now it's just...
It is if you want to win.
It's true. Anything's a game if you can win it.
Always got to look out for number one,
That's in Hebrews.
No, that's terrible.
Why would God call it a race unless there's going to be a winner?
Yeah. Yep.
I guarantee it's not going to be me, but
yep.
It's those who are first are last. So you can think about that while you're running your Christian race.
Oh, yeah. So I could just lay back and just be lazy in my race.
You could.
That's a lot of twistedness to that.
There
all
is.
the statements. Yeah.
If you want to numb out and just not interact at all, that is an option.
Mm-hmm.
God would not be proud of you, I don't think.
He is, though. In a weird way.
He is. But
Tired.
At the same time, he's like, what if you did something else with your time?
Yeah, it's true. He does love us and speak that to us. That's for sure.
What if I showed you my heart by making you experience a bunch of struggle?
I don't know. He uses the struggle for us to get focused.
He doesn't say it as directly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I have been focused, but there is still struggle.
Yeah.
So explain that. Why am I still in despair?
I think faith is being stretched.
Joe.
Faith is being stretched a lot.
It's true.
And
we just took a huge leap of faith, me and Elissa as a couple.
What happened?
Doesn't matter. But
oh, okay. Okay.
It was a growing pain and communication and God's telling her one thing. Well, can we just go with that because God told you? And it's like, well, it affects me also. So
yeah.
I feel like I want to get confirmation before we step out and do that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we had a little discussion as
yep. Well, it's important that you're both on the same page.
The Juster cluster would approve of. We had a discussion.
Yeah.
And yeah, we came to a reasonable agreement, and we even gave God a deadline. We were like, I want to hear about this by tomorrow at noon, and it was taken care of. Sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we put a deadline on something too in our lives, but it's crazy stuff. But yeah. Yep. It's crazy stuff.
It is crazy stuff.
Yep.
How much do we want to divulge about our personal lives?
Not a lot, but
yeah. Stay professional. But when we have people on the show, we want them to divulge.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to do this without. Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know.
Well, your thing is different. Ours was intentionally, as is. We don't talk about it. Just talk about the concept of it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I can tell people I quit my job.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah.
That was months ago, though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, yeah.
We're still
I mean,
in
that
the-
I guess we can enter that in delight versus despair because
Oh my gosh, I was living in despair for years. I
Yes.
don't think I've experienced delight until I quit my job.
yeah,
Ever. My whole
yeah.
life.
But I think for me, in the midst of the despair, or midst of the delight of actually being able, hearing God and trusting God, just quit my job and trusting, He's told me, do you not trust me to bless you, basically,
Yeah.
And so then I'm in the midst of that, trying to figure that out and thinking, well, should I find another job or how do we do this? How do we, even though we want to start another thing, music stuff or whatever, we know that, that's not going to provide our immediate needs.
No.
You can't expect, I mean, you could, but at the same time, we've got so much things to learn.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, God, what are you saying? Got bills to pay,
Yeah.
and then going through the whole thing of actually trusting Him and then, kind of just recently going through are you even going to show up? And then, so then I'm thinking maybe He's not, maybe I've heard Him wrong. And then He brings me back around to you need to just receive my love. And then I'm like, okay,
Surrender.
Surrender. But that hurts, because you're not in control.
It is. It's awful.
Yeah.
You can't.
So,
You don't have answers for people when. I'm going to stop asking people questions because I don't want people to ask me questions. I'm just,
I said that to somebody
what's
else.
God doing in your life? And if they're like, I don't know, I'll just pray for them.
Somebody, how's it going? And I said, it's okay. Oh, just okay? Yep. Oh, just vague answers, right? Yep, that's exactly right. And he was just like, okay. I don't want to talk.
No.
No offense to that person. He was a very nice person. I'm very keeping the circle tight. Other than you, podcast listeners.
Yeah, well, we're anonymous. I mean, I could tell this podcast anything.
Yeah. So
I trust you guys implicitly.
that you won't tell so and so.
All of our subscribers like and subscribe. By the way, I don't even think you can like podcasts. I think you just subscribe to them. Oh,
What did you do?
I don't know. I think we're good. Yeah, the screen just shut off,
Oh,
and I can't change the setting because I haven't bought Windows on this computer.
what?
You can get.
Oh,
Anyhow, so our monitor shut off because I have the free version of Windows. You can get that as long as you have access to a computer that already has Windows on it. You can download a free one, and then they'll just try and get you to buy it every chance they get.
weird.
Yeah, but I can't control when my monitor shuts off and random stuff about personalization settings and stuff.
Huh.
It's weird. And sometimes there's an overlay over all the programs that I use. It says or pay for your actual version of Windows now. And it's are you gonna force me? Because I don't want to give you $100 unless I have to.
So the computer at my house, I upgraded it after January 1st
Right.
for free, and it's never said anything like that to me.
Yeah. Well, this computer didn't when you buy just a hard drive. There's
It doesn't
nothing
come with
installed.
anything
No.
on it. Oh, so it
comes with
changes.
nothing.
It's just different.
That's one of the benefits of buying pre-made. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth it necessarily.
Huh.
Should I turn this up?
If you want to.
I honestly don't know. I'm in number 1. Check. Oh,
There you go.
there it
That's better.
is. Yeah, that's a little bit better. But now
I'm
it's
pretty loud.
you are. Yeah, you're coming through.
Yep. I am.
All right. Anyhow,
Yeah.
sidetrack back to our anonymity and our vulnerability with random strangers on the
Yeah.
internet like you
Yeah.
and liking podcasts.
Yeah, that's right.
You can like us on YouTube. You can like our videos on YouTube.
We have YouTube videos?
Well, so we don't have any money, as we were just talking about. So the podcast service that we use to upload stuff only keeps it for 90 days, and
Yep.
then it gets rid of it.
So then we can switch that over to a picture video with just a random picture.
Yeah, just a random
no
picture.
actual video, but it's a
Yeah.
video on YouTube. So,
Yeah. And those will be there for as long as there's a desire for people to watch them, I guess. I don't know. No guarantees it's going to be there till the end of time. I don't know. YouTube might screw us over at some point and be like, we're taking your crap off because it's so old and nobody cares. But
They really do that?
I don't think so, because I've had like my Spanish cooking video from high school up on there for 10
I forgot
plus
about
years.
that. I got to watch that again.
You really don't.
You showed it to us.
I did, but it's like 9 minutes long.
Yeah, it's funny. It's good.
My Spanish teacher still shows it every year as like,
Seriously?
this is something you could do. Yeah. He has a
Wow.
lot of my projects, actually.
Nice. I remember in my Spanish class, the teacher said he wants you to make something and then explain how to make it to the class in Spanish. Well,
Yeah.
I took him for actual Spanish food, like
Oh,
not
yeah.
necessarily Hispanic food, but Spanish food. So I made flan.
Oh, nice.
He was pretty impressed. It was the only thing he was impressed about me for. So I was like, sweet. I nearly failed that class.
We also made flan in our video.
Nice.
And paella, which
Oh.
was probably held no candle to actual paella.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The flan was pretty good. I mean, well, it wasn't. It was not. It was. I enjoyed it, but
Yeah.
it wasn't real. I mean, it wasn't perfection by any means, but
Yeah.
it was sweet. It was fun. Yeah. So
It's supposed to be sweet. That's like,
I know.
that's like the
It
one
was
thing
good.
you can't get wrong about flan.
that's right. But, anyways,
Oh.
yeah. I don't know. So I guess going forward in life, it's like I'm learning personally to, yeah, surrender in every moment.
Yeah.
It's like it's hard because for some reason I've always been taught you had to take care of yourself, and that's the mark of being healthy, was being responsible for yourself.
Taking care of yourself as in like providing for all your own needs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, oh, God's not, he's gonna be pleased with you when you like grow up.
Yeah.
Like that's our measure of, you get out of the house and you start making money for yourself and you pay your own bills.
Yeah.
And I understand where that comes from, but it's like that's not even in the Bible.
No, it's not.
That's not even
And,
what
like,
God says.
Another part of that picture of you growing up and then God's proud of you is like you leaving a legacy of living children and like grandchildren and great grandkids and stuff, and still having people around that like you. Like when you're about
Yeah.
to die, like that's success. And that's
I better get working on that.
right. That's
Yeah.
definitely not what Jesus did, though.
Or, whoa. You and Jolene.
Oh,
We're going to beep
Jolene.
that out.
Oh my gosh! Can I add a flag while we're working here?
Yeah, go for it. No, you probably can't because it's going to like screw it up.
Yeah, you're right. It was at 23:20.
Okay.
Go with that.
Oh, we're 23 minutes into this.
We are
thing?
23 minutes in. We're
Wow.
already like a third of the way through our minimum
We could make
goal.
a 2-hour podcast now and be with all the
I don't
gamers.
think we should do that unless it goes that long and we actually have a good conversation
could.
for 2 hours.
That's good.
We didn't meet yesterday, so this is all raw
This
information.
is raw. It's very raw.
Greg almost looked up a scripture before we started, but
I
at first he was
want
like,
to actually look up
despair
stuff, but-
versus delight. I was like, heck yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
I almost said
So,
something else. But
Yeah, well, the one thing I did say before this was, before we did actually start, was like, we oftentimes, God brings us to Him out of our despair, because when we're in happy times or whatever, we don't see our need for God.
yeah,
But you look at love and you look at how He wants us to not be in fear, and when you see a need, it's like this weird balance of like, there's fear involved in that first, when you see a need, you're fearful of not having it met.
yeah.
And so you see God and you see Him in His, so you come to Him.
Yeah.
But if we
Well,
stay
that's
in
like,
that,
he's just withholding this from me. Like,
Yeah.
if God would just let me have this, then it wouldn't be consuming all of my thoughts.
right. Yeah. And I just think like as we walking with Him more, like He's constantly telling us to have faith.
Yeah,
That's not, oh, I don't know if things are going to happen now. Oh God, I need you. It's like, no, God is my provider. God is he's my sustainer. He's my comforter. You have confidence in something. So you don't need Him. You delight in Him.
yeah,
And there's that switch. And I think it's not, there's always a growth. There's going to be growth. And there's always that thing of like, He asked you to take communion to remember where you've come from and what He's done. So there's that reflection of, yes, you do need Jesus. This isn't because of your own ambition that you've made this happen, but at the same time, you can't stay there.
no,
I don't know. Thoughts?
Well, and like, yeah, he's our provider and he's always going to be faithful. And like when we surrender and have faith in him, like it's going to work out for us in the end.
Yeah.
But like, there's no guarantee beyond your salvation, which is more than enough, really.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's no guarantee about the quality of life that you're going to have. Like,
Yep.
you go through highs and lows of like
Earth standards, at least.
yeah,
Put it that way.
Earth standards of like, well, I've got everything now. Like, Chris Uten, what like God told him to open up an auto parts store or whatever, and
Yep.
eventually like it became like a multi-million-dollar company, and he was sitting pretty, and then like he lost a ton of money, and he was like $2 million in debt or something
Yep.
over it,
Yep.
like just overnight, and like God got him through that, but like in those moments, it was still a process
Yeah.
of like I
Oh,
have
yeah.
absolutely nothing, and you got called to a church where they had absolutely nothing, and it's like
Yeah.
the Lord is gonna provide,
Yeah.
and like living through that,
Mhm.
like I could lose my house tomorrow,
Yeah.
like I still have my salvation. God is still faithful, like
Mhm.
He's still gonna honor my surrender and
Yep.
what I put into my relationship with Him.
Yeah.
But
Yep. That's a good way to put it. Yep.
yeah, I don't know. I must just have too big of a value on the stuff that I own, quotation
Yeah.
marks, because I don't actually own it. It's
Yeah.
all the Lord's. He gave it to me.
Yeah.
He can take it away or
Yeah. It's
whatever.
funny that, I mean, you say that, and then, I mean, like for me, I've thought like he's really brought me to that place of like, yep, everything is yours. And then he goes that next level, and you're like, then you found, oh, there is another layer of lack of surrender, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, oh God, like, oh man, you know. But and then you have to trust that he's, you know, because in his love there's no fear. So it's like, no, he hasn't forsaken you.
Yeah.
He's actually bringing that to light to bring change, you know.
Yeah.
And I had to remind myself. I was reading through Psalms today, this morning, and it's just like, you know, well, let's look it up.
Let's look it up. What chapter? Psalms.
I think it's like 23 or 4.
Yeah, you're like your marriage psalm.
Psalm 22,
Oh, it's 22, not your marriage.
26.
Oh my gosh. Psalm 26. Final answer?
Psalm 22, 26.
Oh, Psalm 22.
That's a verse 26.
Verse 26. Okay.
Yeah. Just, you know, he says, the afflicted shall eat and be satisfied. Those who seek him shall praise the Lord. May your hearts live forever. You know, and it just reminded me of, like, even though we're in a tough season, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, you know?
It's
Like-
true.
Like, he's not just brought us, my wife always brings up, you know, he didn't bring us into the wilderness so we could die.
He brought some people into the wilderness so they could die.
Well, die to their pride and live to him, yes, but
No, like Moses didn't, or who was it? Moses didn't get to go to the promised land. They were waiting on him to die so they could get to the promised land.
yeah, but that was because of some other choices he made that.
Well, I
At the
guarantee
time.
we have made awful choices.
Yeah, but
as
we
well.
live in a new covenant, though.
right.
So there was a different
but there's still consequences.
true, but at the same time, I don't think we can undervalue God's grace,
His work on the cross, the gospel.
the gospel. Yeah, because I'm just like more and more convinced every day, like there is nothing that can separate you from the love of God.
Yes.
You know, now I mean, his promises, he still wants to fulfill his promises. You
Yeah.
know, it's just, are you willing to go through the? You know, if you do make a mistake, are you willing to go through the process of that would be extra steps to get there? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Old Testament, there's a lot of similarities, but there's also like severity of sin is pretty, you know, that was the whole point. It was like you learn, sin, you can't even make up for it. It has to be made up for it, but you can never do it.
Yeah.
And so it lays up the, you know, the solution, Jesus.
Yeah.
And so we live in the Jesus time. So
Yeah.
there's abundant grace if you're willing to follow him, you know. It takes time, takes process.
Yeah. In the Bible, like as a complete work, it's very uplifting. But you get to passages like like Pastor Joe preached on Sunday.
Yeah.
About you're going to give an account for every
Yep.
idle word you've said, and you're going to give an account for all the stuff that you've done.
Yeah.
And that's true. But like when God gets down to the list of something like that was a sin and that was wrong, and like you've repented and asked for forgiveness,
Yeah.
Jesus steps in and is like, that's covered. Like,
Yes.
I covered that with my blood.
And that's you can easily get caught up in doing works
Yes.
by reading that and going, oh, I've got to be.
I have to be perfect.
You
100%
have
on
to-
my game all the time.
You have to couple that with like again Romans, where it's like everyone has fallen short. Everyone you can't do it. So because every time you look and you go, oh, I better be a better person.
Yeah.
You realize you can't apart from Him, and so there's this here in this. The only option is Him.
Yes.
So you have to lean on faith in God and Jesus to cover you for these things.
Yeah.
Not only just to wash you clean, but to empower you to do new stuff. He works in you to will and to do good things.
Yeah.
And so there's that. But you got to believe Him for that, because you can't just, if you try mustering it yourself,
Yeah.
then it becomes, again, Romans, If in it, I like how it says in, I don't know, Romans 5, like, when you find yourself, when you've been trying to endeavor to become justified in Christ, you sin, then you prove already that what we know is that you are a sinner and needing God's love, And, so I don't know where that was going, but I lost track.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, Jesus makes an example, a pretty good example, I think. There's the two men in the temple, and the one is just praising God for who He is, and like, oh God, I'm so thankful, like I'm so blessed to know you, and blah blah blah. And the guy next to him is like, well, I thank God I'm not like this guy, like he's just a wretch or whatever.
That's a good one.
I don't want anything to deal with that.
Yeah.
And God was happy for the one that was rejoicing in
Yep.
Jesus,
Right.
and like disappointed in the one who was like comparing and like,
Yes.
because he had elevated himself because of the works in his own eyes, like his own flesh. He was like, I'm so good.
Yeah.
And
That comes back to that whole. We talked on the last podcast a little bit about I think we did, where maybe I was telling my wife this one day, but because in this whole process of like, okay, I need a career, or at least I thought I need a career,
Yes.
I need to look like I'm doing something in life. I need to be.
You need to be able to answer to the world, give them an answer.
Yeah.
While at the same time give God an answer about what you're doing. Like
Right.
when God asks you what you're doing, you're like, well, I'm doing all this stuff for your name. Like I'm helping out with community worship nights and like my church stuff, and like I'm trying to make you known. But then like your boss asks you what you're doing this weekend, and you're like, well, I'm going to a barbecue and like having a bonfire, like whatever. And it's like, we present two faces. Not that whenever your boss asks you what you're doing, like you're supposed to be like, "Oh, I'm doing this and this and this for the church." Like,
because
as the Lord leads.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good point. I guess I was going to like the pride of life. Like, we like to look at and say we've done all these things, and we like to basically lift ourselves up in the sight of God and in ourselves and go, yeah, we are right with God when we try to do all these things. But then there's that scripture, like in the world, there's the pride of life is in the world. And you go, so, when somebody's like, I'm so proud of the things I've done in life, we, especially in America, are like, oh, that's great. That's awesome. But in God's eyes, it's like, do you realize that's not right?
Yeah.
And the whole reason is because it's a false confidence. Because at any moment, it could all fall away.
And all you're left with is Jesus.
Right.
At that point. Jesus inside of
so
you.
that's like, that's whole idea of that. It's good that we're talking about this. I need to be reminded of this. Is like, that's why He's called the Rock. There's like this confidence of identity in Him that's apart from things we've done right and things we've done wrong when we are in humility before Him, believing Him. And, it's just kind of crazy stuff. And it kind of comes back to talking about the comparison. That's where I'm leading to, is like, you can't compare anything, even if you've done something right, it's from Him.
Yeah.
And when you've done something wrong, He covers it.
Yep.
And so there's that balance of like, some people, well, if we don't remind you of sin, then like people are just going to do whatever they want. Well, there's a scripture from Paul somewhere about talking about that, because we have such a great life force, essentially, or a flow of life from God because of the cross and resurrection.
Yeah.
why would you want to stay in sin, even though he can cover the sin because his grace abounds more, as he says in there. But God spoke to me this summer, like, your confidence isn't in your comparison. That's what he said to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, it's something I'm constantly being reminded when you like try to walk in the room and you see other people that are successful, or at least in outwardly.
Yeah.
You know what? You know, who am I to judge? I don't know. But you know, you look and say, oh, they got this job. They've been working hard. They have a nice house. They, you know, they've been paying off debt. They've been doing this, and you sit there and go, you know, in your insecurity, you can try to find confidence by going, but I did this better in your own mind.
Yep.
And you've set yourself up for like that guy from the Bible, the story you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wasn't seen by God to be good, you know? Yeah. So it's crazy stuff, but yeah.
Despair.
Yep. Yeah. And so I don't know, for me, it's like finding the positives in every moment. When you start out a Christian, you can easily be addicted to the drama of life, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, everything's going wrong for me, and that in a certain sense, that gives you control over God, because you know He's gonna, you know, you. But when He asks you to let go of that despair and start to live in delight because of Him, because He's delighting in you, that's tough, because you know in yourself you're not that good to earn God's love.
Yeah.
In the other sense, you could say, well, poor me, poor victim. So there's still the level, even though it's not really true, He doesn't, but you still are like feel in control somewhat. But when God asks you to literally just go, trust me, you know,
Yeah.
the wheels look like they're coming off,
Mm-hmm.
and you could focus on that. But when He's asking you not to, it's like, what do I do? You're like no man's land. Like, really? You know, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So,
Any thoughts you have about the verse we read? No, I'm just kidding.
Wow, that was so long
You
ago.
pulled that out of the butt.
Yeah, your divine butt that has all the
Yeah.
scriptures in it.
Yep.
Yeah. I had a moment last night at worship practice, because I was on worship practice for last night. It wasn't even with the song.
You were there.
I was there. You weren't there.
I was there. I was
You
playing
were there.
bass.
You were playing bass. You were right next to
Golly.
me. Okay, yeah.
Slap bass.
Slap bass. Not sponsored. And
Or sanctioned or anything like that.
there was a song that came into my mind, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I knew it was an old one, and then I looked it up later, like after practice, and I listened to it, and it just took me back to when I was first a Christian, and like I was consumed with experiencing more of God and like encountering Him more and more.
Right.
And it's not how I've been living. But the song like brought me back to those moments where like it was all about getting intimate with the Lord. Mm-hmm. And I need more authentic times of that.
Yeah.
Because it feels like I'm just grilling God for answers half the time. Not even just answers, just like speak something profound because I need something.
Yes. Yeah.
Like an ATM for God encounters instead of like, I don't know. I have a really hard time being sincere with the Lord, I guess, and with life in general, just because everything sucks most of the time.
Yep. Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. I need to surrender my heart.
Yeah.
And like I can say that, and I don't even know what that means necessarily from like a standpoint of like what's going to change in my life tomorrow because I did that.
Yeah,
like,
that's exact. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't interact with people now that I'm unemployed.
Yeah.
Which is great to a point, but
Yeah. No, that's exactly what God was speaking to me this morning. I went for a walk with the dogs, and I was listening to a little, I don't know if you call it a sermon. Worship leader that was speaking in another church, and
sure.
She just was like, you just need more Jesus. She was just like, I just, you know, and it just, I'm like, you're right. Like, that's what, you know, even though I want these promises to come true that He has.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm trusting Him for those things and wrestling with like, okay, why hasn't it happened, or did I hear him wrong, or is, am I even worthy enough? And it's like, well, you can never be worthy enough. So, but anyways, it just came back to like, oh, you're right. It's all about just his love and who he is,
Yep.
and desiring more of him, desiring that relationship,
Yeah.
and not coming to him trying to get something where, not that you're trying to get something because you're trying to fill a hole. And it may even be a valid hole, like I got bills to pay, but you're trying to fill a hole in your life that you see you see a need, and then he's just like, you can't just come to me. I mean, you can, and I think he honors that a lot, especially when we're young Christians. But he's like, he doesn't. I guess that's why we're coming. Why we're all comes back full circle, despair versus light. He's like,
Yeah.
stop trying to, in your immaturity, not trust me essentially to do what I'm supposed, who I am to you on multiple levels, and just desire me, delight in me, and realize you don't have to worry about those things when you're walking and delighting in him. He's big enough to see these things. And if he has to change your direction, you got to trust that he will tell you that. That's the other scary thing, is like, well, I want to control when I know I need stuff. And he's like, no, I want you to trust me. Well, I'll do that when this happens, when I have these done, this relationship is fixed, or, I've got a job that brings security. Then I'll start delighting. And he's just like, you've got to do that now, you know? And you're like, what? And that's really hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oofta. Oofta Joe.
Oofta Marie.
Can't use
Joe.
Marie. That's a real person. No, it's not, actually.
It probably is.
Somewhere there's a Marie.
There's a Marie, and she'll be on the podcast someday.
Yep. Along with Crazy Betty.
Crazy Betty. No nervous nipples today. No wiener dog in the studio.
Nope.
It's a different studio today. We have multiple studios. That's how.
Yep. That's how blessed we are. How affluent.
We're beyond wealthy.
Beyond wealthy. In many senses we are. But that's the funny thing too about that. It's like, God's been speaking to me. He's honestly been bringing me to a place of not just trusting him to like provide for me. Like, he's going to give me some bread. It's probably going to be day old cheap bread, but it's
day old bread from Jimmy John's. So it's like rock hard on the outside.
Perfect. Like, I'll survive. He's like, he's like been reforming. Like, what does that even mean? Like he's been bringing me to basically be honest with myself and him about the true desires in me.
Oof.
And not to like shame me because all those desires are too big, they're too flashy, but to realize that he's put a lot of those desires when they comes from a true, sincere place, not from like, I need to prove myself to other people, like I got to have the biggest, better car, or when it's, I need a really nice house because I got to show people that I've successful in life. But when it comes to like, no, I actually desire this house.
Yeah.
Or I desire like it because it makes me happy.
Yeah.
It makes, and it, again, it's not, there's not a guarantee, but it's like when you're come to that place where you're honest and you surrender those things to him, he's just been speaking that to me. I'm thinking, well, God, if I was.
Okay, we had some technical difficulties, but I think we're back. We thought we recorded over stuff and we didn't.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, just those true desires, and then that's that whole struggle of like, he speaks to you and he kind of goes like, well, what happened if I did want to bless you with that desire?
Exactly.
And then you go, oh, that'd be great, but because of my immaturity, or I've just never had that honest conversation. I've never let God into that area. I've kind of kept him at hand distance because I never thought he would care enough, or that if I exposed that part of my heart, would he handle it with care, or would he just dash me to pieces, essentially? Yeah. And I'm just realizing this like every time he's like, no, I love you. Like, those are good things. Those are, and he prunes, he kind of goes, that's where I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I would like this one vehicle. Maybe I should, that'd be great. And then it's like 2 weeks later, he just kind of speaks. Are you sure? Is that really what's in there? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, starts talking to me. He's like, "Are you sure you really are you sure you don't really like this vehicle?" And I'm looked at that vehicle and I go, "Well, there's 100 reasons why that would be impractical."
Yeah.
And then he's just like, "Well, isn't that really what you desire?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, it's just not practical, God." And he's just like, "But let's be honest, that's really what you want."
Yeah.
And I was like, "And you aren't mad about that?" That was just huge for me. I mean, who knows if we'll get it? It
Yeah.
doesn't, I mean, that's whatever. But it was just like having that honest conversation of like, wow, so I can actually dream with God, and I don't have to be in. Really, I'm still working on this, but I don't have to be in fear that He's going to be like, "Psh, you're stupid."
Yeah.
He's probably gonna be honest with me at times, like, now's not the time. Maybe there's other things that we need to do. But at the same time, it's like, that's when you start really bonding with God, because you're like,
Yeah.
I can share.
You get real about like what you actually like to do.
Yeah.
And what you actually
Yeah.
aspire to.
Which is why we quit our jobs.
Exactly.
Because it's like before we were like, well, I need to take the practical road
Mm-hmm.
because, that's the responsible thing to do.
Yeah.
So then you just basically kill your inner self
Yeah.
trying to be somebody you're not
Mm-hmm.
and calling it, this is right, this is good.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of why this has taken a while, mainly for me. I don't know about you, but really just being honest with
I'm
myself.
not even there. Like, I'm trying to be there.
Yeah.
But like, I think of it like when I want to give a gift to somebody, like I don't go down the list of everything they've ever done wrong to me. You know, I just think of something that would actually bless them.
Yep.
And like I pray about it,
Yeah.
I seek the Lord for like a sincere option.
Mm-hmm.
I have moments of sincerity, but most of it is not.
Yeah. Right.
But like when I go to get something for somebody, it's like, well, this is kind of expensive and it's probably more than they're going to spend on me, but like this is the perfect gift for them. Like they need this. Like I need to give them this.
Yep.
Because it would bless them.
Mm-hmm.
And God's the same way and more because he doesn't have a price limit. Like God could give you your dream material possessions tomorrow. Like, he could do that. Not saying that he doesn't want to. It's just like, it's relationship. And
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, in God's spectrum of what's right and what we call what's right or wrong, we could come up with you could look at somebody and go, how did you spend that much money on that, whatever, for your family? And, there's starving people in Africa, and it's just interesting. Like, I mean, it's just like the way God operates is just so much different than us, Yeah, I guess if he were to deny the real existence of desires that we have, there wouldn't be much left of anything to actually share with the rest of the world. It goes back to our thing about evangelizing. Like, what's more convincing? Like, how big your sin is, or how close He is.
Yeah.
And if He is really that close, and that's what the main driving point of why you want to evangelize is, then Him blessing you and with all those desires in some level actually brings something to the table that's worth talking about.
That's basically how evangelism was taught to me in college. Like, they had this diagram, and you're on one side of this great canyon, and God's on the other side. Mm-hmm. So he made Jesus to come, and like the cross fits in there, and like you can just hop over the cross and get to God. Like, that's because you need it. Like,
I read that in a bathroom somewhere. On a track.
Yeah, at the urinal while you're doing the deed. Yep. And that's
doing the deed.
Like, that's true technically.
Yeah.
But like, God wants you. Like, He wanted to send Jesus to do that. Like, He willingly chose.
It's that desire
to do that.
That means more than just
because He wanted to get to you.
Yes.
It's not Him doing that so that you can finally get to Him. Like, He did that to make a way for Himself to get to you, because you are not holy until He has come and purified you.
Yeah.
It's nothing that you did. It's something that He did.
Yep. And that's what's really powerful stuff.
It is. I like it. Yeah,
it takes me back to when the whole time, leading up to my decision to actually quit. And I felt like for the first, he basically told me, you're prideful. And I thought that meant I just need to go back to my job and just humble myself, work harder. And he basically told me, no.
Oh, because you think you can do it on your own? You think you can generate all the stuff you need
Yes.
for the rest of your life?
Not just what you need. That's the thing. It's not just what you. I'd be interesting to do a study on the actual word they use for needs. Because it talks. There's various places like God will provide all that you need. But as I walk with God more, it's like, well, God, I don't really need.
I don't need most of the crap I have. But
Yeah,
he's still giving it to me.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, because there's. Well, this goes back to like another pastor was talking about when God healed, I don't know, leper or something, and he basically said, go to the,
Go jump in the river 7 times?
Wasn't that one.
No.
Something about like, go to the priest, tell him that you did this, blah, blah, blah,
Yes.
blah. And, we look at it and go, yeah, he healed him from leprosy physically, but there was actually three things that he did to him. He and I wish I don't remember where it is, but he healed him physically.
Yeah.
But because he had to go to the priests, he healed him spiritually.
Yeah.
Because
he had his sins forgiven. Yeah.
He had his sins forgiven. Well, I mean, as a leper, he was ostracized from the church.
Yeah.
So here he was able to reconnect there, and then he was able to dance. There's something about dancing or something, because it was like he was able to present himself to the people and have joy. It was like a threefold healing. It wasn't just physical. And so I guess if we looked at it from that perspective, we do need these physical blessings in a lot of ways, or breakthroughs in different ways.
Yeah.
For not because we just need to feed, we need food because our body's going to die. It's like, no, he's healing our hearts as well, and that's part of. Yeah, you think of the scripture like, if you as a sinner give your kids good gifts, why wouldn't God do that? Or Romans talks
He's
about
so much better than us.
if he didn't, Romans 8, if God sent his only son for you, don't you think he's going to give you all things?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's true. Like, it's not, we make this big deal. Well, why hasn't he done this stuff? Well, he's doing a lot of work. He's working in us. He's building stuff. And some of those things you don't really need. Mm-hmm. That's why you're being honest with your true desires, and, but yeah, he it's not any, like you said, it's not a huge thing for him to bless us with these things. We just, I don't know. Any other thoughts? Are we done? No, I'm just kidding.
Wow, just end it like that. We
Yeah.
are at like an hour though. Well, it's a minute less, so we're at like 50.
Whatever works.
It's whatever.
Well, you got thoughts?
I feel like we've said the same thing like 3 times now.
Sure,
Which
that's
is
okay.
fine, I guess.
You don't have any other thoughts?
Nothing has really popped up. I don't know. This just has me thinking about my life in general.
Yeah. And I think
growing with God.
I think, just our other endeavors in life that we're trying to get going. Well, you've seen me. Let's figure this out. Yeah. You know what? We should set a schedule to work on this crap. And then I just go nuts because my identity is so tied into finding some type of, I've got a career, so then I can finally.
Well, you were a workaholic before you quit.
That's true.
I was the opposite of that. I was like 39 minutes and 39 hours and 59 minutes and 59 seconds. I'm out. I'm done for the week.
Yeah.
Forget this.
So I guess I've felt bad because you want to get going on stuff, and I'm still like, I'm afraid I'm just going to fall into the cycle of overworking myself and overstressing.
I don't even necessarily want to go. Can we say balls to the walls on this podcast?
Yes, we can.
I don't want to go
like
balls to the wall.
walls.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what they do at practice. They just chuck balls at the walls. But I don't want to necessarily do that. I just want to be able to get to the end of the week and be like, I did this this week. I worked on this.
So is that pride?
No, I just think
Are
it's
you sure?
Well, I don't know.
That's a good question for you and God, man.
Yeah, but I'm not just supposed to sit around and play video games all week either.
But this is where I'm getting at. What we're getting at. I mean, maybe God wants to bless you that for a time.
I think we're past that time.
Are you sure? I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, But like, I don't think.
I mean, there's obviously things you can do around the house and too, but I mean, I do that at home.
Yeah.
But I mean, I oftentimes because that to me is a joy, in the sense of I get to contribute to my wife helping keep our home, whatever,
because it's her job, right, to make the house.
No, but I mean, she's historically done that because I was a workaholic.
Historically done that, yeah.
She's never had time
she's
where
got that ministry schedule where she's like always working, but like
now
she's home a decent amount of time too. And
what I'm saying is yeah, in our responsibility thing, we would say, yeah, you should be out working and making money. And I've felt that so many times. I've asked God a bajillion times, I need to go out and get a job. I need to do this. And he's just like, I'm the provision for the vision. And you're like, what does that mean? What does that even mean?
What does that? Provision for the vision. Did we talk about that on the last podcast?
No.
Because that is the entire essence of our life for the last year.
Yeah. Well,
it started a year ago, right? Last fall.
No, he gave me that in May.
In May.
Yes.
Just this past May?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I thought it was longer than that.
No.
What were we talking about in January when we started the business?
I don't remember.
Were we just making stuff up to?
No, we just felt like, if it's not going to happen, we need to do something.
Right. If we don't do something, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
That was our mindset.
And it's just, I don't know. It's been very interesting because,
which is technically true in the physical.
But in the spiritual, it's so different because he's teaching me to stop trying to plan so much.
Yeah.
Unless he plans it.
Yeah.
And I'm learning that balance, and it's been hard.
Yeah.
Because I want to see that goal and go for it. But he's like, do you not realize when you've been doing that, it's been killing you because you get so consumed with it?
Mm-hmm.
And so he's been teaching me to just, our end goal is to take other certain things and make them something cool or whatever. But in the same time, it's like, unless the Lord builds a house, we just, I'm learning that balance of you're trusting him that he has plans for things, Yeah. And not just our own plans,
Like, I know he has plans, but haven't seen much happen.
And that's what I'm trying to get at is he's
working.
He's so much more than just doing stuff.
He is.
He wants to commune with you.
That's true.
And that's part of the vision.
Yes.
Yes.
But I walk my dogs and talk to the Lord too.
Sure.
And I don't know. I ask for direction.
And that's maybe, but
I feel like my compass is just spinning around. So I'm like,
so why are you? What are you asking direction for?
What I should even be doing with my time right now.
Sure.
I think that's a valid.
Yeah, it is.
Question for God in a time like this where I have every waking hour.
But when you're asking that, what are you thinking about?
Oh, there's always the money thoughts in the back of my head.
There's your issue.
Yeah, there's my issue.
And I'm obviously, we're not saying I can see people taking and going, oh, they see God as glorifying being lazy. I'm not saying that. I'm saying in a season,
don't do stuff unless God told you to do it.
Yeah. He's reevaluating our priorities.
Yeah, because we were both in jobs that God did not want us to be in.
Yes, and I was in, well, and honestly, we're probably both in certain levels in ministries that we felt like we should be doing because we should be doing something for God.
Oh, exactly.
And
when I first became a Christian, it was every ministry in the church was like, you should do this. You should go to the fair and talk to people about Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm like, you just asked the wrong person to do that.
If
I did it out of guilt and shame.
Yes.
But I went there, I didn't talk to a single person. I sat there and talked to my friends.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And it
what a waste of time.
It was, it's this weird thing. It's we have all these standards that God points out in his scriptures about things he wants us to do. But when we do them to check the box, even though it's wholeheartedly sincere, at least a level we think is sincere.
Yeah.
It's oftentimes very empty.
Yep.
And so it's that's where I'm I know I need to be productive in life a certain way, but what does that mean in God's eyes?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I go, the provision for the vision. I have a lot of vision that doesn't, there's a lot of things I want to do in my life that don't make money.
Yep.
And I've just set that aside because I thought that's ridiculous. that doesn't make sense. God would never value those things because I have to provide for myself. That's when he spoke the provision for the vision for me. Was I started being honest with myself. I want to, have kids,
Yeah.
but I don't want to be doing the job I was before where I would never see them.
Yep.
But I've got to make money.
Yeah.
So where does that come in? And he goes, I'm the provision for the vision. And I'm like,
oh God, that's so good.
well, it felt good, but then the next day I was like, I got to make money. I've got to make money. I've got it, And,
well, like all
yeah,
all of our visions require money.
yeah. But at the same time, we know that in our abilities, trying to make the money to make those visions, we would kill ourselves. So this is where God shows up. And that's where we're at.
That is where we're at.
Yes.
That is this week's podcast. I hope you are as lost as we are.
I'm not lost.
Not lost in the sense of you're going to hell, but lost as in
Yeah.
like, don't really know what's going on, but I know God.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah, trust me.
Whoa!
We have shared a lot of tears lately. And we keep coming back to, we know what God said. We have been listening to him. We have been going through the scriptures. He's been pointing out these things that we've been hidden from before because of our religion that's basically choked out life in us.
Yeah, the religion.
And, anyways, yeah. So we should pick this up next time.
Yeah.
Vision for the vision next time.
Milk out this conversation for next week. We can talk. We can think. We can dwell.
Yes.
On the provision for the vision.
Yep. So.
Yeah.
Over and out.
Are we just gonna cut it? Should we do an opinion question?
Yes.
like
Opinion
last
question.
time?
What's opinion question? I don't have opinion questions.
I don't have one either right now.
Coke or Pepsi?
I don't even drink soda.
That's true. I don't either.
Wow.
But if I had to,
terrible
it would be
question.
Coke.
Obviously.
Cherry Coke.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about
I like
that.
cherry Coke.
No.
From the machines where you push the cherry, not the cherry Coke in a can, but the cherry Coke
fancy
from
machine, like a Rocky Road Coke.
Yeah, and it's like, that's a good cherry.
Yeah, I always get the flavored lemonades out of there.
I don't.
This is the magic soda machine question. What do you get at the magic soda machine? That
Cherry
has,
Coke.
Yeah, cherry Coke.
That's what I do.
And I get like raspberry lemonade.
That would be good too.
So good.
Or Dr. Pepper with cherry.
Yeah. I don't really do soda.
I don't either.
Unless it's like mixed with something.
I did have Crush
That Jesus would have
at
made
the
out of
Juice
water.
Joesters because I was like, I haven't had that in a long
Orange
time.
Crush. Well, there's no caffeine in that, so it's technically
But it's high in sugar.
awful for you.
My
It is cancer in a can.
My body does
That's
not.
why they called them cans. Short for cancer.
Oh, sure. Okay. Any other opinion? That was my opinion question for us. So what's yours? I feel like you have a good one.
Preferred handgun caliber.
That's a good question.
Isn't it?
I like 38 specials.
38 specials, just because they are specials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, I have a regular 38,
Okay.
like the automatic, and then I have 30
semi-automatic.
Semi-automatic or whatever.
Yeah.
I can make it automatic.
Just put
Trigger
Put
control
this paperclip right here. Yeah.
like that.
MacGyver it.
But I don't know. 38 special is nice.
Jolene's little snub nose thing.
Yes.
Okay.
At first I was like, I didn't know Jolene had, but I know who you're talking about now.
There's an actual Jolene that goes to our church, but her name is something else. Josie.
Josie. We have a Josie that goes to church too.
Or maybe her name's not actually Jolene. You never know.
Could be. Could be Wanda.
Yeah.
What about yours then?
I don't know.
Handgun you talked about.
Handgun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm attracted to the 9mm.
Yeah. Never shot one.
It's all right. I'd have to shoot more to like honestly know.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool to have a revolver, but I also want like more bullets
Yeah.
in my capacity than 6.
Yep.
But I don't know.
Sure. Yep.
That's my preference. That's probably what we're gonna get. 9mm or bigger.
9mm makes sense because there's gonna be plenty of ammo for it.
That's
always
true. All
because
the
the
time.
all the governments use it.
Well, government subsidies. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can find army surplus 9mm all over the place.
Yeah, Craigslist. That's where I should be looking. I keep looking at Cabela's, but they want like $800 for a handgun.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I could buy like 3 rifles for that, but yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
handguns are special.
They are something.
Yep.
They're finicky. Just a little.
Yep,
Put a grain of sand in there, and the whole thing doesn't work.
that is true. Yeah, I haven't shot hard guns in a long time.
I haven't shot my rifles since last year. When I shot at a deer that was way
Well,
too
you'll
far
have to
away,
shoot my
and I
Mosin
missed.
Nagant,
Oh, your
my Russian
Yeah.
World War One or World War II rifle.
wow.
It's fun.
Was your dad like? No, your dad wasn't a war criminal.
No.
He's very much American.
Yes,
How'd you even get that?
I bought it at Gander Mountain.
They just had like a used.
Oh,
one
they
in there?
made the USSR made billions of those things, and so
Oh.
they have them all over the place. Like people just buy them from army surplus from other countries and sell them
Sure.
here.
Interesting.
Yeah, and these are 7.62 by 11 millimeter
All right.
or something.
Did you find ammo for that?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
yep. I bought. They were packaged. They're called Grizzlies. Oh, the first package I got were actually from the Russian government. Like they were packaged in Greece and stuff
Wow.
from the government.
They have like the Russian writing on the
Yes.
boxes. Wow.
And then
That's cool.
then I found some more ammo. I found Grizzly. It was also from Russia, but it was in
Sure.
English writing. Grizzly brand or something like that.
Grizzly.
Yeah.
Like the gristle on a
Yeah.
piece of steak.
And the gun came with the standard army issued sling, and then a little pouch that goes on it with the ammo to go into.
Wow.
Because the ammo comes in little clips.
Huh.
Because it's like you can load like 5 rounds into it. You know, it's a bolt action, but it has 5-round clip, and it came with a. It's not a true bayonet because it's not a knife.
Right.
It's more just like a
pointy end.
It's point. Yeah, it's actually at the base. It's shaped like a medical cross. You know, it's not a cross like a Christian cross.
Okay.
But, and then they taper out about 2 feet.
Huh.
And it comes together.
Wow.
Yep. And it has a adjustable sight on it, iron sight that
Sure.
you can with measurements for meters,
Yeah.
and you can put it where you slide it up and the thing will be like this. So the gun's like this and their sight's like this. So you can shoot like
If you're just listening to this, it
Yeah.
makes no sense. But yeah.
yeah, it basically tilts the gun up so high so you can shoot. I don't know. I don't remember how many meters.
Huh.
Really far away.
Wow.
That thing kicks like a son of a gun.
Sweet.
And it's heavier than a son of a gun because it's like full wood all the way to the end almost.
Wow.
And it's a long gun. It's probably that long.
I shot a British gun like that one time.
Did you?
I forget what it was called. But
Yeah.
it was cool. It didn't kick at all though, because it had like all that weight out on the front
Yeah.
or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it probably doesn't kick as it's very loud. I'll put it that
Sure.
way. Yeah. Probably doesn't kick as much
I'm
as
all
a
for
30
that.
at 6 or
I
something.
love the sound.
Yeah. It's a fun gun. It's got a for me, very heavy trigger.
Yeah.
It's like you're squeezing, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's not a feather.
I've been hunting with the same 30-30 since I was like 12.
Yeah.
So I know one trigger weight and that's it.
Oh, nice. Anyways, I like that gun because it's $100.
That is a good deal.
Yeah. That's how it's nice.
That is sweet.
Mosin Nagant. It's pretty cool.
Mosin-
You ever watch that?
Mosin-
What's that movie? There's that really long sniper movie, Stalingrad.
I've
It's really famous.
not seen that.
It's based off of an actual famous sniper battle between two. One was Russian and one I can't remember which country, and they were in the Battle of Stalingrad. So they were basically hunting each other for days.
Wow.
And the one guy used a Mosin Nagant.
Huh.
And he had you can actually buy a sight. It's a special scope that sits because the way the action is, it sits
Yeah.
differently on it than just it's not hooked up like a
Bolt
regular.
action?
It's bolt action,
Okay.
but the way it sits, it comes straight up.
Uh-huh.
It's not bent where you go like this. It's like up on top and back. So
that
and
is
because of that, you have to have the scope sitting in a special spot somehow.
Right.
I can't remember. I should get the scope. That'd be great.
That would be sweet.
I should
Probably
watch
cost
that movie.
Way more than the gun, though.
It would. Yeah.
I'd be down to watch it. We should watch that.
It's like a 3-hour movie though.
I just watched a 3-hour movie the other day.
Which one was that?
It's called The Good Shepherd, about the creation of the CIA.
Huh.
It was very confusing, but very interesting.
CIA. Interesting.
Matt Damon, Angelina Jolie,
Oh.
and Robert De Niro.
Never heard of that. Was it good?
I thought it was really good.
There's a lot of stuff in it. Like
Stuff?
bad, like swear words and stuff.
No, not
Okay.
really.
So it's
It was rated R, but like it wasn't. I definitely wouldn't watch it with my kids, but I would watch it.
What kids?
Yeah, well, I don't. My dogs.
I remember when
I watch X-Files with my dogs. I definitely wouldn't watch that with my kids. That
I remember
don't
I
have.
had to write to the state of Illinois to remind them that I don't owe any child support
What?
before they would give me my license for veterinary medicine.
What?
Yes.
That's crazy.
They were like, I kept having this issue. Why is my license? Well, you need to write a letter to tell them that you don't owe child support. I don't have any children.
That's very odd.
Yeah. But that's government.
It's usually just a box that you check, like on the form. Like when you're applying for the license,
Well,
they'd be like,
yeah,
do you pay
but
child
they didn't.
support?
They
Do you
didn't
pay
like
alimony?
that. They did not like that.
That is so weird.
Yeah.
Well, you just have one of those names that sounds like you pay child support. Not really, but
Yeah.
wow.
We're gonna have to bleep out so much crap.
Why did it?
I don't know what it's doing there, but we should end this.
Yeah, we should.
We are done.
Okay.
Thank you guys. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next week.
Yep, next week. Thursday. It's Thursday.